Welcome to the A Bit of AI show with your hosts, Henk and Amy.
Hi everyone, and welcome to the 12th A Bit of AI show. My name is Henk Boelman, and I'm a white male with brown hair wearing glasses, and today I'm wearing a red shirt with a robot on fire.
And hi everyone, my name is I'm a female with long blonde hair and I'm wearing a light blue top because it's got a little bit more summery here, which is quite nice. But also, Henk, what a week, right? Busy week with Build, Microsoft Build. So if anyone has not had a chance, there is still sessions going on. So go to mybuild.microsoft.com.
Yeah, it was great. Did you see the keynote with Scott in the cinema?
I did. I didn't catch the end, so I do need to go back and just watch a little bit of it. I had to go off and do something else. I also quite enjoyed the Kevin Scott keynote as well, kind of the future of technology. It really just opens your mind to all the things that people are working on in this space.
Exactly. I still have to see that one. There was just too much going on.
Definitely put that one.
I also enjoyed the keynote or the session with Cassie and Seth talking about MLOps and all the new changes in Visual Studio Code and with Azure ML service and how you can deploy your models and then have like route 10% traffic to that one and 60% to that, all with GitHub Actions. So that was really cool.
Yeah.
So definitely go to mybuild.com and check out these sessions. We will put some links at these episodes for some relevant sessions if you're in AI. So once again, welcome to the A Bit of AI show. And this show is all about the story behind the people that work in AI. Because in our job, we meet so many people around the globe and we realize that there are so many different skill sets involved in creating this full AI solution. So in this show, we invite people that work with AI from all over the world, and we just have a chat about what they're actually doing during the week. So this is the 12th episode, and we couldn't be more excited to start talking with our guests and learn about what they do. So in this show today, we have two items. We start with our guest Eve to chat about her life in AI, and then finally we dive into an AI learning challenge of the week. I'm curious what that one is going to be this week. So as always, all the links are available on the website abitofai.show.
And don't forget, after the show, you can join us in a Bit of AI cafe, where it's kind of an informal chit chat for 30 minutes after the show. You can chat with myself and Henk, but you're probably going to want to speak with our guest today.
Absolutely. So let's get started and invite Eve to the show. Click. Hi, Eve.
Hi, everyone. How are you?
Really good, thank you. Really, really good. Thank you so much for joining us. I know you're having an incredibly busy week, both with your role, with community pieces, with Build. So we really, really appreciate your time on the show. It's great to kind of hear from you and also see you. We often work with you quite a lot.
Yes, we haven't met for a while, I think, and it's really great to be in the show today. So I'm very happy that you got me a chance.
Of course. And well, I guess we know you very well, Eve, but can you tell all of our audience who you are and what you do in AI?
Sure, thank you. So I'm Eve Bardi. I am working as a consultant right now at Avnad. And as a consultant, I am going out and work with clients all around the world, actually. So far in Scandinavia was the mostly focused area. And I am working mostly with data science and artificial intelligence activities and like related tasks. And it's often a lot of fun working with these clients. Next to my full-time job, I do a lot of community work as well. I am an AI MVP, and that also involves a lot of sessions at different conferences and meetups. I also organizer of AI42 together with Håkan, which is, I think, a really nice initiative that is about to invite more people into the field of AI and also give them a chance to get started in the field of data science and AI. I also write articles, and I'm just about to rebrand my whole Code with Dev image and stuff. So I hope in the summer I can put it on, and you can read all my stuff that I was working on in the last few months.
Oh, definitely. I was going to say there'll be many links, I think, to share both in our cafe experience after the show, but also on the website. And we'll make sure that we do that because there's so many great things that you share online with the community. Let's first though talk a little bit about the day job. So you're a consultant in this, and you specialize in AI. You work with so many different customers, and every time we've spoken with consultants, one of the things that makes me most surprised is just the sheer amount of different technologies that you need to know about in order to help people out. And so what I'm really keen to hear from you is, all jobs in the industry look different daily, but what does kind of an average day in Eve's career look like?
Well, normally it's yes, it is very different, as you say. Most of the time, I prefer to start with meeting with the client in the morning as soon as possible. So we have a good discussion about where we are and what's next, and what we might require from them. And then a small planning is always needed for the consultant team itself. So see who is doing what and so on. Right now, I am working with a client, which is pretty exciting for me and this is something really big, I think, in this field, especially in the Microsoft era, because what right now we are doing is that we are moving an almost on-premise solution that is built from a third-party company for this customer. We're moving this whole thing, the whole data engineering, then data preparation, and then the machine learning part as well into Microsoft Azure, which is pretty exciting. So it requires a lot of planning. So mostly, since I am the one who who is able to know about what is like AI and how to like use the Azure machine learning workspace and so on. So I am the one who has to plan these steps, like what has to be done. So I mostly do planning. And that also requires a lot of knowledge about the company, about their data, how the solution looks like right now. So before starting on the project, I spent like 2 weeks on looking into the code, in the data, see what has to be moved or what might need to be improved, and so on. So it includes a lot of different tasks, actually, not just training a machine.
I was going to say, right, because that is one of our things we're seeing a lot on this show, which is I think a lot of people think of AI and data science in one way. And actually, it's very much an engineering problem, like as we're trying to take these things into production. And as you're saying, the importance of actually that whole pipeline, the data that's fueling it, what does the architecture look like and stuff like that. And actually having these different jigsaw pieces kind of come together and work well, like efficiently as well, I think is a whole nother skill. You mentioned the data prep work, and when we chatted a little bit before this, you find there's a lot of projects in that space, or is it more the AI, the machine learning side of things?
Yes, it's an interesting question because let's say I haven't been in the consultant life for very long yet. But so far what I've seen is mostly the data engineering that is in focus, and then a bit of AI maybe. But mostly it's analytics and statistics and so on, and then put in some machine learning on the top of that. But most of the clients only focusing on their data. They want to make sure that their data is quality data, it's pretty, it's useful, and it is available for the data scientists. When data scientists are just can't wait to like have the data finally and just get started to work on it instead of like planning on the data modeling and stuff all the time. But yeah, otherwise it's cool. You need to know that as well, I think, in this field, because that's how you can build better machines, if you know how the data looks like really, and that you put together the data model yourself, then it's easy.
Yeah, I was going to say just more understanding of what's available to you, how it's formatted, how you can use it, what are the possibilities of the different things that you can build with the data that you have. I think that's always a question I've always found as well, where people will say, what can we do? Like where's the, what are the ideas around things that we can solve, the business problems we can solve with the data that we have, sort of thing. You mentioned the kind of migration piece. Does that mean you have to do quite a lot with the infrastructure side of, so like compute and storage and stuff like that?
I'm mostly just supporting that part. I'm more like looking into the code closely. So I have to. So what we are doing right now when it comes to migration, it also involves a lot of testing. We have to verify that this thing works well. So that is mostly the focus here. Next to that, I'm obviously helping out with the infrastructure as well, but I'm not really good at that, I think. So I'm always having problems on estimating how big machine we need. So it's it's not my thing. So.
I know, if I'm honest, like when we've done like Azure fundamentals and I did like a developing Azure solutions a while ago, like certification, that part of it, that infrastructure side is always the bit where I have to spend the most time, like anything that's serverless, anything that's data and machine learning, no worries. But then like, the whole side of infrastructure, things like Active Directory, stuff like that with identity. I find security very interesting, but I'm not an expert, sort of thing. So it's good to hear that, where that line is drawn as well there, because otherwise, like I said, like sometimes when someone says I'm a consultant, I'm literally like,
you should know everything.
How do you like hold all that knowledge?
Yeah. And I like that always, that every time I go to an exam or in a consultant situation, like I have to answer something to the customer right in that moment when they ask you this question in that call specifically, and you would prefer to sit down and start drawing stuff on a paper and start calculating stuff and like spend some hours on it, but no, you have to put it on the table right away sometimes. So it's
Oh gosh. Nerves of steel, Eve, nerves of steel. Let's move on a little bit, because I know a lot of the time in your customers, you have to share a little bit of learning with them. So they need to be able to understand kind of when you leave what's going on still. And that learning has kind of expanded into the AI community. And that's how we know you so well. Can you tell us a little bit more again about what you do with the community work?
Yes, and before doing so, let me just mention that sometimes it's not just sharing knowledge with the client. It's not important because of that you might leave or whatever. It's also important that they see what you're doing while you're working there. I think it's important to mention here for someone who wants to become a consultant. It's always very important to be very transparent about what you're doing. And if you tell the customer what you're doing, like explain it, how does it work and such, then you're in a good way. But yes, in my free time, I do a lot of sessions, and I'm doing a lot of community work, like including mentoring, like speaking, of course, and I often just offer some learning opportunities for people, just like AI42. And this all came from the idea that I, first of all, wanted to be someone who people can rely on, or be like a role model in this field a bit. And I think it's also, from my point of view, it is important to give a chance to people, because I also started like that I was doing something, but I at some point had no idea what would I do with my life, and then I needed help. and everyone needs some help, of course. Some people need some mentors. Some people are okay with just going on courses or whatever. For me, it was really, really good that I had people around me who could guide me and help me through my path. So I think that's important to, from my point of view as well, to be a person who people can, have behind them. So
That is so great. So I want to know a little bit how you got into the field of AI. What is your story?
Ooh, well, my story is like a fairy tale. I always refer to it like that. It started from back in Hungary, because I'm originally from Hungary, actually, and I started my studies there long time ago. and I was learning some software. What was it called? It's like software engineering, something or something like that. It was called, and I often had the feeling, and I, not just a feeling, it was actually, I knew it, that some of my teachers didn't like me. Well, not specifically me, but they didn't like the idea that women learn programming, and especially engineering, these things. So I just said that, okay, I don't want to work like this. I don't want to feel ashamed all the time when I'm doing something. So I decided to come to Denmark, and I started my studies here as well, like in parallel. And I did a lot of well, not a lot, but like 2 diplomas in Denmark, and then in parallel with that, I finished a master's on MIT on data science and AI. But like that path was very funny, because I came to Denmark, and at that time I was learning programming only, this software engineering, computer science, and such. And at some point I was like, I don't want to be just a programmer. I don't want to spend my life with it's just not me, sitting in front of the computer the whole day and write code the whole day. It's exciting. I enjoy it when I do so, but not like every day, right? So I was like, okay, what should I do? So I was okay, let's search for something, and I literally wrote in to this search panel the 3 keywords that were important to me at that time. That was mathematics, programming, and healthcare. And then it dropped out this word that I think I heard it for the first time, maybe at that time. It was called data science. And I'm like, wow, that sounds cool. And like, wow, what is that? And I started to learn. And that's how I started with data science and AI. My first final project for the first diploma in Denmark was about neural networks, digit recognition. That was quite a big thing at that time, because Microsoft didn't have this custom vision thing yet at that time. So I wrote my own code on Python. I actually did have to set up the infrastructure. I had to put together a training machine, and then another one for validation as well. And then there was one so it was like a big project. And then my second project was something that you might heard about already, the Nepal earthquakes project. That was that I started on in 2017, something, I think. Yeah. So and then I don't know, like a spark. At some point, I managed to go to some conferences also with this project, because it apparently was a very interesting one. I think it was also because at that time the Azure Machine Learning Studio and then the workspace was always like a big thing, and that project was focusing on introducing these tools to you. And at that time it was only Jupyter notebooks, and then suddenly came the Azure notebooks, and then now the workspace with all these things. So I could just move through this project in 3 years. So so it's yes. And then last year in February I became an MVP in AI, and I'm very, very happy that I can be a part of this community, because I don't think I could manage it by myself to get there. So so thank you.
It is a very interesting story. Very interesting. So let's move on to like my next question. So what is your most annoying thing about your role in AI?
I'm not sure if we could call it annoying. But it's more like surprising sometimes, I think. When people come to you and say things like whatever I do, I take other people's job. That's my favorite one. And it's not about that I am going to go and sit everywhere and work there, but like building an AI solution can often sound like that it wants to take the job of people, but it's what I think is always that what AI does nowadays is just support the people. So like, for example, would you rather be an administrator who is working like day and night, answering phone calls at Christmas night or whatever? Like AI can just take these things from you, and then just when you're not available or people are not capable of like not capable, because it's like nonsense to be capable for that thing, then AI can be used for that. Also, another thing I think is that it gets a small focus of how AI could be used for good, and that focus is like fading away sometimes in people's mind. What I'm talking about right now is that going back to the Nepal earthquakes project, we saved people's lives because we could estimate which buildings might be in danger, or let's say like whatever healthcare solutions that we can see all around the world. Like let's just look at some that like automatically calls the doctor if it recognizes something strange on you, like a higher blood pressure basically or something. And all these solutions are for the people, and many of them don't understand it yet. So that's it's not annoying. It's just that's we have to live together with, I think. So we cannot expect from everyone to know what is AI, which would be actually nice though.
Yeah, and you're doing a lot obviously in that space to educate as well and to offer that insight, and so I think you're combating some of that by hopefully letting people know, as you said, the possibilities and the things that they do need to be wary of. You do a lot within responsible AI, right? So it's
yes, exactly.
It's really cool. So wonderful. Well, we're going to very, very quickly go on to our quickfire round. Our quickfire round, Eve. Wow. You do not know the questions that are coming your way in the next couple of minutes, but one thing that you do know is they're fairly simple, and all we want is that first thing that comes to mind. If you can keep it to either a word or tops a sentence, that we would really appreciate it. So let's get started. First one's easy. So what was your first programming language?
C.
Oh, good one.
Yes.
What programming language was used in your last project?
Python.
Always Python.
That's 12 out of 12 episodes, I think.
What else?
On to the next. So no more than a sentence. What was the last thing you learned?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh.
No.
No, I think we lost Amy for a while, for a bit. What was the last thing you learned in AI?
I just give me a second, because it was not the reinforcement learning stuff, but after that, no, I think that was the last thing. Yeah, reinforcement learning in gaming. I think that was the latest.
Oh yeah, I saw that talk together with Ellen, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was cool. Your favorite event on the AI calendar?
Oh, can I say 2?
Yes, okay.
Well, 3 actually. No, just joking. All right. Or obviously a bit of AI. It's pretty cool. No, but AI 42 I think is very useful to those who want to learn AI, and global AI community events. That is these three. I think it's pretty useful for those who want to get started in the field. Maybe.
Yeah.
That
Amy's
was more
back.
than a sentence. Hi, Beck. Hi, Amy.
So
A small
let's-
blooper.
So I will continue. What area of AI is on your list to skill up on next?
So I'm going to look into a bit more cognitive services, specifically in improving webshop. I can't tell more about that. Sorry. It's just one sentence.
That's good. That's good. The last question is for you, Amy.
Oh, fabulous. So, what training framework did you use last?
I think I was using, I'm not sure, maybe Scikit and TensorFlow, I guess these I'm usually using together mostly.
Good stuff. Wonderful. Well, Eve,
We will
thank
see
you so
new
much.
stuff that comes.
You did a fantastic job, even though I missed a short part of that quickfire round. But thank you so much for taking part today. It's been an absolute pleasure to speak with you. In just a few minutes, we'll all head over to the cafe and Eve will be there to chat a little bit further with you if you're watching on the website. So, Eve, with that, we'll say goodbye and we'll see you in the cafe.
Yes, thank you for having me today. See you in the cafe.
Thank you, and thanks so much for sharing your story. Amy, let's go straight to the Learn modules you picked for this week.
Absolutely. So thinking of the things that Eve has worked on in the past, as well as things that she's working on in her day-to-day, I've picked 3 different modules. So one of them is using the Azure Machine Learning SDK. She talked about how important that was for her work right now, and that migration she's working on. So go and check out a little bit more about that. And then my next 2 are based on responsible AI. Eve has done a lot in the past, especially with Microsoft, to do stuff around detecting and mitigating unfairness, as well as using explainability in machine learning models. So I've added 2 different modules that relate to them.
Perfect. I still have to take those last 2 ones.
Oh yeah, no, definitely do them. They're good. Wonderful. Well, you all know where to go. Obviously, if you're on the website, you can find the Learn Challenge just above us, or you can go to aka.ms/a-bit-of-ai-learn. And with that, we've come to the end of the show. Another show. This is our 12th episode now, and we're nearing the end of our season. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really hope you've enjoyed the show. We're here every Thursday at 10 a.m. Central European Time, and in various other parts of the world as well. Do come and join us in the A Bit of AI Cafe with me, Henk, and Eve, where we'll talk about, where we'll just kind of have informal conversation. So if you go to aka.ms/a-bit-of-ai-cafe, or again, you can just click above on the button. With that, just thank you so much for watching. This has been A Bit of AI with Henk and Amy.